Hey everyone, welcome to another Pathfinder adventure card game scenario. Playing with the character Alahazra. This is scenario 2.5. We're over at the sepulcher of the servant, where at this location, monsters you encounter have the undead trait and are immune to the mental and poison traits. Alright, advancing the blessings deck, first card we get is a Dijin quarterstaff. Okay, well this is a pretty cool item. Alahazra does have a weapon slot on her card list. So it's a strength 6 or arcane. Oh wow, arcane divine 8. That's awesome because Alahazra, her divine is d10 plus 6. Oh yeah, feeling good about this one. Wow, so 6 and 6, 12. We get it. And we're going to keep it. So, since we have all these great cards, we're going to go ahead and discard a Blessing of Horus to explore the location. That's what we're going to do. So we're exploring the sepulcher. Alright, we get a Crystal Stalker. This fine fellow is immune to the mental and poison traits. We did not examine this card. So we do not have the acid trait on any of our checks. So it's a straight up combat 9. So the Dijin quarterstaff, which we just acquired, we can just reveal it to roll 2d6 and add 1. And so it says here, monsters you encounter have the undead trait. So we have in our hand the embalming fluid where it says reveal this card and add 2 and the poison trait to your combat check. If the Bane has the undead trait, ignore its immunities. Well, look at that. Has the undead trait. We're going to ignore its immunities. We are going to go ahead and use the embalming fluid and the Dijin quarterstaff. See what happens. So a die falls on the floor. Can I reach it? Alright, it would have been a 5, but we're rolling over. 6 and 5. Wow, another 5. 5 on the floor, 5 on the table. So we get an 11. A 12 with the Dijin quarterstaff. 13, 14 with the embalming fluid. But the embalming fluid states that after the check, succeed at a craft or disable 7 check, or bury the top card of your deck. So this guy's banished. So unfortunately, our craft or disable is also just a D4. So we are going to roll a D4. We rolled a 1. Okay, the top card. So wow, the armor, the loot armor that Alahazra has been buried. We still have the embalming fluid, and we're going to keep our hand. We like it, and we will advance the blessings deck, and we will explore. Alright, this guy could be trouble. Well, once again, what's interesting, monsters have the undead trait. Immune to mental, poison, and fire trait, but fortunately, once again, so this is the card that's kind of broken that is totally helping us out, this scenario, because if the Bane has the undead trait, ignore its immunities. Sweet. So we're ignoring all of its immunities, and we'll go ahead and blast it up with an Immolate spell. So Immolate is D10, or it's Divine, which is D10 plus 6 plus 2D4, and we're using the Embalming Fluid, which is a plus 2 to our check. So we rolled an 8, 9, 10, and 6 is 16 plus 2 for the embalming fluid, 18, more than enough. This chump, what we forgot to do is before you act. Before you act, each character at your location is dealt 1 fire damage. Okay, so technically we had to take a point of fire damage, but I got this fine fellow who jumps in front and says, yeah, you don't have to take any damage. So sweet. So we did everything legit. We did the before you act effect. We just defeated it with a high roll. We auto recharge the spell since it's a divine 7 check. And Alahazra has a D10 plus 6 for her recharge. Now the only thing we have to do is make that craft check or bury a card. So this time we roll a 4. And what we can do is we can use Maga 3 Fingers to add 3 to the result. So we will do that so that we do not have to bury a card due to the embalming fluid. Now what we will do is we will reset our hand. Okay, yeah, that embalming fluid, easily one of the best cards in the whole campaign. Advancing the blessings deck. Okay, we get this fine fellow. Combat 9. He's immune to electricity. He's also immune to mental and poison. All damage dealt is electricity damage. If you play a weapon that does not have the bludgeoning trait. Okay, so fortunately, we do have a weapon with the bludgeoning trait. And I think this time, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to use the Dijin Quarterstaff. It's only a combat 9. We can do 2d6 with the Dijin Quarterstaff, and we can add 1. And since it has the undead trait, we can use the embalming fluid to give us a +3. That means we don't have to roll 6. Okay, we are using the embalming fluid. Are we going to use the embalming fluid? I mean, we don't want to unnecessarily bury cards. We might need them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a Blessing of Nethys. So I'm going to roll 3d6 and just use the Dijin Quarterstaff and add 1. I'm not using the embalming fluid. So we rolled 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 with the Dijin Quarterstaff, which is more than enough. So that means that this fine fellow is banished. Okay, we are going to toss. We have 2 fine traps spells in our hand. We're tossing 1, resetting our hand. We got a bunch of stuff. We're advancing the Blessings deck. We get an Elemental Treaty. It's a Divine 4. Guess what? That's an auto acquire. We're taking it. We're advancing the Blessings deck. We're exploring. We're getting a Blessing of Mat. Guess what? Divine 6. That is an auto acquire. We're taking it. We're going to go ahead. We are going to, what are we going to do? We have so many great cards that we really don't want to toss anything. But, shucks. Man, our hand is perfect. We don't want to lose a card. We don't really want to explore. But I guess that's what we're going to do. We're going to use the Blessing of Pharasma to discard it to explore. Okay. And we get the villain. So it says here, before you act, search the location deck for monsters. Well, there's only 3 monsters in this deck, and we've already banished all 3. So it says here, if you don't find any, a character at this location summons and encounters the henchman Natron Zombie. Okay, so that's what we're going to have to do first. First, you have to meet this fine fellow. So he's immune to the mental and poison traits. The difficulty to defeat is increased by the scenario's adventure deck number. So that would be 2. So we need a combat 14, but wouldn't you know, we got the embalming fluid. This guy has the undead trait. We can ignore its immunities. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and this time, we're going to use, we have in our hand a Spear of the Watchful Guardian. We're going to use our strength or melee plus 1d6, and we're going to discard it for another d6. So we're rolling 3d6. We are adding 1 to the roll. Plus, what we're doing is we are using the embalming fluid. So we're adding a +3 to this roll. So we're adding 3 to the roll. So we're 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we rolled a 12, and we needed a 14. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 with the staff. 11, 12 with the embalming fluid. So we needed a 14, but fortunately we have, actually, you know what? Yeah, so we didn't use a blessing. We can use this Blessing of Mat. It says after the roll, discard to add 3 or subtract. We're adding 3. We're discarding it. Okay, that was close. This chump is defeated. We have to roll for the embalming fluid, see if we lose a card, and we do. We have to bury the Cleric of Nethys. That sucks. Alright, well now we can go ahead and defeat this chump. He says he's a combat 15 and then a combat 16. Okay, so he is a monster. He does have the undead trait. He is immune to mental and poison. We are using the embalming fluid. So what we're going to do is we are going to, this is going to be interesting. So what we're going to do for the first check, we're going to use the Dijin Quarterstaff. So we have strength, melee, plus 1d6 plus 1, and we're using the embalming fluid. But you know what? I think a safer bet is going to be to use this Clinging Venom spell. It's arcane or divine plus 1d8. Well, Alahazra's divine skill is 1d10 plus 6. So I think we'll do that. We'll do the 1d6 plus the 1d8. So what we're going to do is, okay, it's kind of a little risk here. Oh, and you know what? Alahazra has that special power where it says that when you play a card that has the fire or poison and attack traits, add 1d8. That's what we're doing. Oh, sweet. We get to roll 2d8. And with the Clinging Venom, we can use the result for any additional combat checks to defeat it. Sweet. So we're adding +6 to this roll. Actually, we're doing +8 to this roll thanks to the embalming fluid. So we rolled a 7, 8, 9, 10, and 6 is 16, +8, that's 24, thanks to Clinging Venom spell, which is awesome. We get to use that for the 15 and the 16, so this guy, this chump, is destroyed. And with the Clinging Venom, which is awesome, it's only an Arcane Divine 6, it's an auto recharge. So we have closed that location. Wow, this card right here, one of the best cards in the entire campaign. That's what I like about Pathfinder Mummy's Mask, finding that loot that's really going to be useful. And this, hands down, whenever I see it, I try to snag it for a character. But we do have to reset our hand, so of course we still have more than enough cards. We had 7, we had like another 5 cards left in our library. So let's go ahead and do a deck check. So, man, that was pretty cool. I mean, I really like how this is a really fun location. Very, very impressed. What a cool scenario. It was challenging, that's for sure. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we'll do the deck check. So, let me get all these things in order. Here is Alahazra, the character we're playing with. That was the location scenario deck over there. So, Alahazra has all this cool loot. She's got the Cleric and Nethys. She's got that armor. She just gained that spell. She's got also this trap spell, the embalming fluid, which is awesome. She's in Quarterstaff, which she acquired. That actually really helped her out. She's got these spells here. So this is her ally. Okay, so you know, and I did decide to keep this Ubashti loot. I don't know if I told you last scenario when she was leveling up. Ooh, Dice Tower Casualty. Okay, here's what we got. So she's got all this stuff. The reward for this scenario was actually, what was it? Okay, so the reward for this scenario is the, if I can find it, we actually gain this guy and we get Mask of the Forgotten Pharaoh. Well, that's pretty cool because that sepulcher was pretty challenging. So we get all this cool loot. So we get both of these for the loot. So now, of course, what we want to do is, what do we want to do? I think we're going to, we got an option of seeing a trader, and I think we're going to go for some spells. I think we haven't seen our buddy Hayden Hoppert for a while. So let's go ahead and let's look at some spells. So Hayden Hoppert, he's offering us some spells. Let's shuffle up this giant stack of spells. Let's see where we're at. Yeah, I think it was only thanks to that embalming fluid item that we were able to get through that scenario. If we did not have that item, I think it would have been a different story. Okay, rolling a d30. Hayden Hoppert says countdown 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that spell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That spell. All right, let's see what this guy's offering. He's offering the cure spell and the acute senses. All right. So so one thing that's nice is this is a Arcane 6 to recharge, and that is also a Divine 8 check to recharge. So this is an auto recharge. That's a recharge as long as I don't roll a 1. So they're cool in that respect. This one is I can add 1 die to perception checks after that character explores. I can examine a card. So I mean these spells really aren't that exciting. So we're gonna say thank you, Hayden Hoppert. These items, on the other hand, are very, very intriguing. This guy is an ally. That guy is a loot. We didn't really gain any. We can trade like this level 2 item, which I really like, for like this ally. Shucks. I think, hard to say. I think what I want to do is next time I'm going to go to the auction market, try to get more of those guys. I think thematically they're working pretty cool with Alahazra. I kind of like it. But as it is, I am going to have to reset the deck. I don't know if I'm keeping either of these. I mean, they're both pretty cool, but of course they're both taking up slots away from the allies and the items. So at this point, I really don't know where Alahazra is going to be going. Alright, well, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed that scenario. It was a lot of fun, and I will have another scenario up shortly.